Welcome to Lesson 6, the one where Linux finally starts to click. Today we're talking about 4 tiny characters: the pipe, the greater than, the double greater than, and the less than. They look like nothing, but they're the whole secret behind Linux thinking. The ability to chain 200 small tools into exactly the one you need. Look at the example down there. 4 tools, 1 line, and you've found your 3 biggest log files. That's where we're headed. So here's the roadmap. 4 skills, 4 characters. First, the pipe, sending one command's output straight into another, the Lego brick that makes Linux composable. Then the greater than signs for saving output to a file. 1 overwrites, 2 appends. The less than goes the other way, feeding a file into a command. And finally, T, when you want it both ways, written to disk and shown on screen. Master these 4 and you stop being a Linux user. You start thinking in Linux. Before we touch any of those characters, you need this mental model. Every command in Linux has 3 streams: stdin for input, stdout for output, and stderr for errors. By default, input comes from your keyboard, and both output and errors go to your screen. Here's the whole secret. Pipes and redirects don't do anything magical. They just swap where these 3 streams point. Once that clicks, every symbol we're about to learn becomes obvious. So here's our first character, the pipe. It takes the stdout of the command on the left and feeds it straight into the stdin of the command on the right. Count files in a folder, list them, pipe to word count. Find errors in a log, cat the file, pipe to grep. And you're not limited to 2, chain 3, 4, 10 commands together, and the same rule applies all the way down. On the right, you'll see the usual suspects: grep, sort, Unix, wc, head, cut, awk, zargs. These are your Lego bricks. Learn them, and you'll start composing solutions instead of searching for them. Now meet the next 2 characters, a single arrow and a double arrow. 1 greater than sign sends a command's output into a file, and if that file already exists, it gets wiped without warning. 2 greater than signs do the same job, but append to the end instead. That tiny difference between 1 arrow and 2 is the difference between keeping your work and losing it. And if you want to silence a command entirely, redirect it to dev null, the void. Add 2 for errors, or 2 and 1 to capture everything in one place. Now flip the arrow around. A less than sign feeds a file into a command as input. Handy when a tool expects standard input but your data lives in a file, like piping a SQL schema into MySQL. Then there's T, the little T-splitter that sends output 2 places at once, to your screen and to a file. Use it when you want to watch something happen and keep a record of it. Bonus trick: sudo t is how you write to a root-owned file when plain redirection won't cooperate. Okay, let's put it all together. Real task. Find the top 5 IPs hammering our server today. Start simple. Cat the log. Too much data, so pipe it into cut to grab just the first field, the IP. Then sort and pipe into Unix-C to count duplicates. Finally, sort numerically in reverse and head -5 to keep only the top offenders. Notice the rhythm. Build left to right, test each piece, and only add the next pipe when the last one's working. That's the whole secret. Now here are 6 combos you'll see everywhere in the wild. T lets you watch a long job run and save the output at the same time. History piped into grep digs up that SSH command from last week. Redirecting with 2 and 1 captures stdout and stderr together. Yes, pipe command auto-answers prompts. And find piped into zargs is bulk action. Find locates the files. Zargs hands them off to RM. Memorize the shapes, not the exact tools. And here it all is on 1 card. 12 little patterns that cover 90% of what you'll ever do with pipes and redirection. Screenshot this one. The left column is pipes, the middle is writing and capturing, the right is the power moves. Appending, merging streams, and filtering. Once these shapes feel automatic, you're not memorizing commands anymore. You're thinking in Linux. Now, before you go wild with these patterns, let's talk about the 5 ways people quietly destroy their own data. Number 1, a single greater than overwrites instead of appending. One missing character and your logs are gone. Errors don't travel through pipes by default, so add 2 and 1 when you want to catch them. Never read and write the same file in one command. The shell empties it first. With sudo, the redirect runs as U, not root, so reach for T instead. And cat pipe grep, just grep the file directly. The community will notice. Time to put hands-on keys. 3 exercises, building difficulty. First, redirect las la into homefiles.txt and read it back with cat, your warm-up. Second, chain p's aux with sort head and t to capture the top 5 memory hogs. Third, the real composition. Take any text file, break it into words, sort, count, and surface the 10 most common. Type each step alone first. Only add the next pipe when you understand what came before. And that's lesson 6 in the bag. 4 tiny characters, pipe, greater than, double greater than, less than, plus T, and you've got the whole Linux composition mindset. Small tools, glued together, doing something none of them could do alone. Next up, lesson 7, editing in the terminal. Nano first, then Vim basics, so you can open any file, make changes, and exit Vim without panicking. See you there.